Okay, so I found an anime hot take thread.
Okay.
Anime, so it's 7 anime hot takes. All right. So the first one is Levi had the best conclusion in the entire AOT franchise. Think about it.
That might be
Take a
a pretty
second.
good hot take. Hold on, wait.
Yeah, he was fulfilled.
I mean,
He got what
honestly,
he was
Aaron's,
honestly fulfilled. He's still alive. I mean, he was in a wheelchair. We don't know if he's like fully paralyzed, so he could eventually walk.
and then afterwards, like in the ending credits, it showed he was helping people like rebuild.
Hmm.
That probably fulfilled him even more.
Become a chef, chef,
It
Daddy
might,
Levi
that
in the
might,
kitchen.
he do, but
He be
no,
cooking it up.
that might be a solid take, honestly, when I really think about it. And then with like the ending credits with him like seeing all of his comrades and him being able to tell him that I finally did it. I think he
Yeah,
might have
yeah,
the full storyline, full
yeah.
wrap up and everything. Okay,
He,
solid
all
take,
right.
solid take.
So
Okay,
the second one,
all right.
I I kind of don't know how I feel about this one, but it's very specific. So Fire Force is the best new gen shonen manga. Um, I know before you get into it, I know that Boruto it has a really great manga from what you told me before. Um, and it's considered new gen, but I have looked at Fire Force manga and it's not too different from the anime.
Mm,
And you know that Fire Force is my favorite new gen anime anyways.
mm.
So like I'm on board with it because I got Fire Force. I mean, I'm up to like 20, but
Yeah,
I mean, it's
the anime pretty much reflects the manga. It adapts really,
like,
really well.
yeah,
So watching that, if you love the anime, you will love the manga as well.
yeah.
Best new gen, it's definitely have puts
I
up the
think it's top.
numbers. My Hero would be considered one of those new gen right now, and people have a lot of complaints about some parts of the middle and definitely some
Hmm.
parts of the end right now. Fire Force was a good wrap up, and then finding out it ended up leading to what is it, Soul Eater?
Which is oh yeah, Soul
Yeah.
Eater, Soul Eater, yeah.
So, I mean, it's
Uh,
arguably I would say of the new gen mangas, it's arguably top three. I would say, and it's over. Like it's a complete,
yeah,
full made up. And it was a good length story too.
yeah. It was
So,
good for how much it is, and we still got another season left.
yo,
So
who is this in the kitchen? Who's in the kitchen right now? Because they're cooking.
like, yeah, somebody doing something,
We
but
already two. All right, two.
yeah. All right. So number three, I don't. You may not feel it. I don't know how you feel about this one,
Mm,
but because I don't know if you've seen it, Soul Eater like universe clears 80% of shonen.
ah, that's up to you.
I don't think it's 80, but I think it's a more surprising amount than most people would realize. I don't think it's 80 though.
Mm,
Um, Soul Eater, just quick thinking on like stats, speed. I mean, One Piece clears, Naruto clears, um, Bleach definitely clears. Like weapons and fighting style. I mean, these guys do get their butt whooped a
My
lot, but
Hero.
like they're getting butt whooped by demons and like souls and like you
Yeah,
know, you know,
JJK clears them.
so I mean, I definitely say it's surprising, but I don't say it
Yeah.
clears. It'd be like a like high diff, honestly,
Mm,
like high diff. But Soul Eater's pretty good. This guy clearly loves like Soul Eater and Fire Force because I'm
clearly.
scrolling down and I see a few more things.
Okay.
So number four, animes that contain magic power systems are top 10 of all time. I can agree with that because I love magic power system animes.
Yeah.
Unless they're like school ones, they have to be really good school ones.
That's really not fair because a lot of the animes
That's
contain
yeah,
some level of magic powers. Let's be real.
yeah.
Naruto is some level of magic powers.
So
So,
his pictures on here are Fairy Tail, Magi, and Black
Magi,
Clover.
Magi, yeah. Black
Yeah,
Clover, yeah.
yeah.
People do love
So
Black Clover. Of like, but again, like most of them are magic powers on some level. So that's
yeah,
really like a catch-all.
that's all of it's magic.
Yeah, it's all
Uh,
it's a catch-all statement. So I'll give
unless
it to him,
unless they
but
say Maho in the show, it's not magic. Like Black Clover, Fumi Maho. Um, this next one is actually kind of funny. I don't know how I feel about this. This is disrespect. Rock Lee and Gara are characters that don't belong in Naruto.
Is there any reasoning behind that?
Just because I'm assuming it's because they could have been written so like much better. Like they could have had better character development, but because we all know that Naruto is bad at side character development,
I
that
mean,
if they would have been put in another show, they'd have been great.
yeah, that okay. I can give you that definitely for Rock Lee. Gara, Gara was such a disappointing character. It's
He
like
could have been
the
Crocodile's
height,
kid, bro.
yeah,
Mama Luffy's kid.
the height,
Luffy's brother.
the height of Gara was definitely the
The
tuning
Genin exams.
exams.
Oh, tuning exams, yeah.
Yeah, definitely the height of Gara was tuning exams. But then they tried to make a comeback in the beginning of Shippuden, and it really didn't hit. And then how they did my boy for Boruto,
Hmm.
definitely Lee on that point. Lee in another show would have been better. Shit, if the show was about Lee, Lee even got his own little spin-off series. Lee definitely
Yeah.
deserves his own show.
I
Lee
sent you.
deserved more spotlight than
Yeah,
he
I
deserved.
sent you that TikTok of the best filler in all of anime history. Remember when Sakura punched Naruto so hard that his that Kurama came out and it was like attacking the village and shit and like beat up Sakura and then
Oh,
Guy
okay, yeah,
Sensei and
Phil. I'm
Rock
like,
Lee like beat the fuck out of
wait
him.
a minute. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, like yeah,
I was like,
that
who's
was crazy
calling me
ass
this
fucking
again?
filler. This next one, if I'm thinking of ninjas, yeah, okay. So this is another what's it called? Soul Eater. So Black Star is the most unique ninja in anime slash manga. So Black Star, just to kind of sum up his abilities,
Mm.
excuse me. Black Star is essentially a ninja in the Soul Eater world, where his weapon is Subaki. You know, when I said there's Soul Eaters and there's actual
Yeah,
like
I remember
weapons
who
and
Black Star is, but what's
yeah.
like their abilities that make them so
So his
unique?
ability is Subaki can change into pretty much any weapon
Yeah, I remember that.
that he pretty much anything that he unlocks, she can change into that weapon.
Yeah.
He's almost he honestly, if he wasn't so immature, he would speed blitz most people in the show.
Mm.
Like I mean, 90% of the people in the show, he'd probably speed blitz. He's stronger than everybody in the show, which has been shown in like his strength feats in the show.
Mm.
Um, he's like super strong, super fast, which I mean is standard anime, side character bullshit. But um, what I'm trying to think is he did something else. He has this ability. It's like he has the it's like a demon sword what that Subaki turns into or something like that, or a black sword.
Mm.
And it essentially like takes your soul from inside you. It's something crazy.
Interesting.
Um, I don't agree that he's the most unique, but he is very unique
He is very
because
unique. Sounds like it.
I think honestly, I think old boy from Hell's Paradise could
Yeah, I was gonna say
probably
too.
beat
Gabi
him.
Maru, I
Gabimaru could
would say is
probably beat
definitely
him.
more unique. Sounds like he's more unique than him. And when I first saw Gabi
Honestly,
Maru, I was like, wow, this he makes me love ninjas again. He made me want to watch another ninja anime. So
honestly, if they came back with like Soul Eater and these dudes were grown, Black Star would be broken. I'm gonna be honest though. Like Black Star would be top tier, but that's for the show. That's
yeah,
not for everything else. And number seven, well, okay. Attack on Titan is top three animes of all time. Yeah. No. I mean, I have favorite animes, so everybody has their top three favorite. I know they switch around a little bit, but like it's not top three for me. It's
shonen
definitely I'd say it just says top three anime of
specific.
all
If I
time.
say specific to shonen, I would say is definitely
Top five.
top five
Top
of
five.
2000s and on,
Yeah.
because we can really argue with someone who's been watching anime since the 80s and say there's nothing
Yeah.
that's better than anything in the 80s and 90s.
Hmm.
But from 2000s and on, big three and on, I would definitely say is top five. I'll give them that.
Yeah, top five, and not top three of all time. I can't.
No, this is it's definitely some old school bangers that'll knock it out. There's Samurai Champloo, Any Day, Every Day, Cowboy Bebop, like Trigun, the original, Trigun. I don't.
Trigun Stampede ain't bad though.
You checked it out finally?
It's not bad.
You
It's
finished it?
pretty good. I mean, it's no, I didn't finish it. I'm watching so much other shit, which we're gonna get into in this episode. Um, oh, sorry. For a honorable mention, somebody wrote, "You forgot this one, by the way. One Piece is easily the worst anime slash manga in history."
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to our actual show.
Somebody
Since we
legit wrote
only
that. I
give
swear to
facts,
God.
since we
I
only
swear
talk
to
facts
God.
on this show, the fuck, One Piece hater. Like,
He
why
had
do
so many
people put
downvotes.
so
It's
much
fucking ridiculous.
energy to hate on something for no reason? Either that, or they just wanted some type of reactions and content, people to react to them. Whatever, bro.
Somebody's. They said you're the easily most botted human in the world.
Okay, well,
Well,
facts are
if the
facts.
shoot, if the robot hands fit.
All right.
What's going on, Otakuans? Welcome back to part 2 of our tier list. We're going to go over our last 5 shows, excuse me, of this current season in the anime, rank them from S, A, B, C, and D. If you missed out on our last part, go back to our homepage, look up part 1 of our tier breakdown for the first 5 anime that we did that are up right here. Let's get into it.
No, and the next one we're going to talk about is a returner's magic should be special. This one,
Surprising.
yeah, exactly. That's the
Surprising.
perfect word for it. It is surprisingly good.
Hmm.
So when off rip, just off the title, I was like, okay, it's gonna be maybe some isekai returner.
That's
They
what I
told me
thought. Yeah.
isekai, so I'm like, it's gonna be an isekai. It's probably gonna be one of those regular mundane isekais that we watch every season. I'm gonna check it out regardless because I
Hmm.
was specifically trying to watch things that you weren't watching yet, so I watched this one first, and I was like, interesting. They're fighting the demon lord. Okay, they defeated the demon lord. This is very interesting. And right when they thought they were about to like return home, everything would be over,
Hmm.
the world would be saved. Time restarted, and our main character is one of the people from that party, and he remembers everything that happened, but no one else remembers everything that happened. And his job that he's pretty much given himself is, okay, I want to make sure that we defeat the demon lord again because obviously time
Make them
rewound,
stronger.
but I want to make sure everyone who died the first time around they survive because so I'm going to make them stronger this time. I'm
Yep.
going to teach them everything they should know now, so by the
Yep.
time they get there, they don't die. And the premise isn't that strong. It's a good premise. It's interesting, but it's not like
Yeah.
something super strong. You're like, okay, I really want to see how this works out. But the show is it's stable. It's a solid
Yeah.
show. The main
Its
character,
progression is
he's
great.
intelligent. Of course, you got the weirdo isekai things like the little the one little boy he likes him, and then you got the girl who she likes him too. She's like what we call them, the tsunderes. She likes him too,
Yeah.
but she acts like she doesn't like him, and she gets angry whenever he rubs her
Yeah.
head. So we got
Which,
those level of things of
which is
isekai.
funny because they were literally together in the future. Like we
Yeah,
know they end up
yeah, I'm
together.
I'm curious if he knows if like our main character knows the little boy likes him. I'm curious if he knows
I
that.
think he. I mean,
So
he
they
probably
do
just don't
provide
care.
those levels of the normal isekai things, but
Yeah.
the main character is like next level intelligent. He's always thinking
Yeah.
about his next move. He's always strategizing.
Yeah.
He's because the like those three main characters, the little team, they're
Yeah.
like commoners compared to everyone
Yeah.
else in his world. And if you're a commoner, then that means you're the bottom of the pile. He's
Yeah.
trying his best to make sure that his friends of commoners
They
makes it
become
up
single rankers. Yeah.
exactly becomes single rankers become higher levels so that they can receive the
It's
type
like
of training that they
the
need
alpha
in
class,
order
right?
yeah the alpha class, the bravos and
Yeah.
alphas, so that they receive the type of trainings that they need in order to
Yeah.
be strong enough to survive the whole demon lord thing, because again they end up defeating the demon lord, but in order to do that people had to
It's a
die.
hack.
He don't want that to happen, so the show's really
Yeah. The
good.
demon
The
lord
show's
hacked.
really
Cheated.
good. I wonder, does it's so weird because he remembers, but no one else remembers. So I feel like eventually something's going to come to a head where someone
I
else
think it's like
actually
a
does
god or
remember
something.
too.
I think either that or some kind of god or some kind of like entity or some kind of magic
Mm-hmm.
that he may have not known that he had is what rewound time. And not to mention, even for me, like this show's in an academy.
Mm-hmm.
It show's in a school, and you know I hate school. I hate
Mm-hmm.
school animes. Like I hate them. I don't like school animes. But this show,
I don't.
I don't like school
It's a
animes,
good
but
show though. It's a really good.
the
It's
show
it's
is
because it's
fantastic.
solid. It's not because it's like so
Yeah,
over the top, crazy things are happening. It's like
yeah,
wow, I
no,
need to see next episode. It's just a
it's linear.
solid show.
Yeah,
So it's not an S, but it is an A. It's a
it's an A.
strong
It's
A.
definitely an A.
So if you
Definitely an
do like isekais, it can be considered an isekai. If you do like Magic Academy shows, if you do like those type of dynamics, then this is definitely a show I would suggest to watch.
A.
Solid
Absolutely,
A.
absolutely, great show. I think a new episode just dropped. I'm gonna need to check that out after
It
this.
did.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one is going to be Undead Unluck. This show is great. I mean, honestly, it's not an S tier. So hear me out. It's not an S tier anime only because it's not. It's very linear. It's very straightforward. Essentially, so short premise: there is a young woman who has the power to kill people with her unluck, right? So she's not lucky, she's unlucky. So think of Domino from X-Men or from Deadpool, but the opposite. So instead of luck happening around her, she makes everything unlucky happen around her. Every time somebody touches her, the more they touch her, the more skin they have, or the more intimate they are, or the more she likes them, they die in a horrific way. She is the first episode. She's reading a manga. She's about to jump off into a train and kill herself. And then she meets a man, undead, who is immortal. He cannot die. His power is he is super immortal. And essentially, he ends up finding out that her power is killing people, and he wants to use her so that he can kill, so he can die because he does not want to live anymore. He's been around for he said something like 500 years or some crazy shit like that. But he wants to use her so he can die, and it's pretty much about their adventures of figuring out how he can kill himself. And pretty much they both play on each other. She starts liking him a little bit more and liking her life a little bit more, and he starts becoming, I guess, less or more sensitive to her or more sensitive to other beings because there's a whole idea where there's a group of 12. I forgot what they're called. They're like anomalies, I guess, something like that. Some word that's a synonym of anomaly. But there's anomalies. There's 12 of them. Everybody that has a superpower in the world, they're called like huh?
Calamity.
No,
Wasn't that
something different. No, it wasn't calamity. But anyway, it's something called like an anomaly. And so there's 12 of them that work for the world government, and they go out and they hunt other anomalies and kill them because they're considered unnatural in the world, and they have to meet a quota or else they're killed themselves. Well, they end up obviously running into a few of them and ended up killing a couple of them and getting spots on that 12 council, that council of 12, which is a little different path than I thought they would go. So it's definitely something great to see it go in a different direction than them just running for the entire show. And it's pretty much about them, kind of forming a bond. She is an adult. She's very small compared to him. He's a very big, like, brolic dude. There are some very sexual things in this show. It doesn't happen, but it's insinuated because his idea is he wants to have sex with her, or he wants to make her fall in love with him so he can have sex with her because the more intimate you are with somebody, the worse the death is. And so he thinks that if he has sex with her, it would kill him.
Yeah.
And then it comes to a head where he's like kind of being a little S-wordish or SH with her, and she's like, no, you're not gonna do that with me. And he's like, come on, let me do it. And then she ends up kind of liking him a little bit more, and so he doesn't die, or so she doesn't die. She says, come on, we're just gonna do it. We're gonna do it right here. And this is where you see the biggest character development in him, because he's like, we're gonna do it. I'm new, I've never done this before, just be gentle. And he's like, no, I'm gonna make you fall in love with me. And so there's something going on between them. But he do be grabbing them titties all the time and like, come on, kill me. Like he do be getting a little crazy with her. But this show is absolutely fantastic. It's an A tier for me, but all it really is just like blood and guts and comedy. It's a blood and guts comedy. That's really all it is. It's something funny to put on and something funny to watch. Still a great show. I think the show is fantastic. I'm not quite caught up. I'm where they get into the 12. But I haven't gotten past that yet, so we'll see like what kind of other nonsense, because she doesn't like killing people, he doesn't care, and because they like each other, we'll see how that dynamic obviously works out. Because if somebody's eating, he said, well, let's kill the bad ones, but they want all of them dead. So what if they get a target that's eating a corn dog on a bench parked somewhere, isn't bad, has a normal 9 to 5 job? Like, is he gonna kill him or is he gonna not kill him because she says so? You know what I'm saying? So we'll see where it goes from there.
Okay, okay. I've been looking forward to it. I remember when it was first announced, it was around the time
Yeah.
that I knew Zombie 100 was coming out, and it kind of had that same animation. And since I
Oh yeah.
love Zombie 100, I was looking forward to this one. So I'm good. I'm happy to hear it's at least an A tier. I was
You can
hoping you
fight
weren't
too.
going to come back and say it was like a B or a C. I'm like, damn, I
No.
was looking forward to this one, but no. I know you were super excited when you first told me about it. Like earlier in the season.
Because
So
he
so
uses
definitely
the
jump in
blood from his severed body
to
parts to
to
fly,
to propel himself as he
to propel
flies.
himself. Like, and it's honestly the funniest shit I've seen. And like, I don't know, but yeah, it's a pretty good
Well,
show.
the next one we are moving on to is going to be the Demon Sword Master of Excalibur Academy. This one is an interesting one. I wouldn't say I think I'm like an episode behind. It's kind of slow. It's so the premise was very it was a decent premise. It started off
Mhm.
where this guy, he's the demon lord. He was in his castle with all his like his generals and everything, and they were
Yeah,
being attacked by the heroes, the good guys, the kingdom, whatever. And they were losing. His generals were dying back to back to back, and they're telling him like, "Hey, you need to do what you're about to do now because we're all about to die." So
yeah,
finally he's like, fine, I'll just do it. And we find out what it is basically he did some type of reincarnation magic a
hmm,
1,000 years in the future where he'll come back again at full power, full strength, and then take over the lands again, have his
yeah,
second wave. But when it finally happened, he ended up coming back as
yeah,
the child version of himself. So
yeah.
he's
But
not like in a
it
different
was
body.
like
It's his actual
before.
body.
It was like before he became. He said something in the show. He said he was like before I became the demon lord, or before I took on the undead curse, or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
This was his
So
body
his
prior.
body before he reincarnated was undead. So in that world, you can have like the
Yeah,
undead curse where you're immortal and
yeah,
you have like a skeleton body, think Overlord, something like that.
yeah,
So he had that curse. So before
yeah,
he had that curse, that was his actual body. That kid
yeah.
version is
He
actually
came
him.
back as his
Right
soul.
when he came, like got into the organization, right as he became the demon lord and everything. So
Yeah.
that premise was super good, and now it's kind of it's he's still the demon lord. Apparently, the he has this thing where he can make somebody his vampire, like a vampire
Hmm.
slave, or
That was the last episode I watched.
yeah, so he made like the girl, one of the girls who found him is like
Yeah,
his vampire slave.
because she
So it
died.
was like still a good premise. I'm like, okay, so we're still sticking to the demon lord thing, but then it fell into okay, I made her my vampire slave so that she just keeps my cover as the demon lord. And now we fall into this school profile. We're going to class thing. Exactly
Oh,
what you
really?
made, and it fell into that.
Oh no.
It's there's still something in the background that's going to come to a head. But right now, again, I'm an episode
Yeah.
behind, and I think like the last episode or two fell into that a little bit. But I still feel like
Oh
it's
no.
going somewhere. So
That's upsetting.
yeah. So
Because the last episode I watched was when she woke up and he was like, "By the way, I'm the demon lord, and I
yeah.
turned you into a vampire." That was like the last episode, and I thought the whole premise of the holy swords and like,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be
So
great!"
it
Like
has
fighting those
something it's
monsters and
going
shit.
towards. It has definitely
Yeah,
has something it's going towards. And the fact that he woke up to a world completely different with these monsters. So you
yeah,
got to find out like what's going on with these monsters, where do they come from? Why don't no one knows of the demon lord? So it has a solid
potential.
foundation. It has the potential.
Yeah,
But the question is right now, are we going to stick to this? Are we going to see this for the rest of the season? Then, like the final
I hope
episode,
not.
we finally see something come to a head.
Yeah.
So honestly, I wanted to put it at A. It's going to be my B. It's going to fall for a
Ooh.
B. Let it simmer.
Ooh.
See if
Okay.
it can possibly come back
I'm
to
gonna
an
I'm
A.
gonna I'm gonna
I
keep
don't think
watching it.
it's going to hit a S. I don't think it's going to hit a S. It could, but I think it has the potential of ending up as an A.
I mean, I'm gonna keep watching it. I think it's on episode 8 right now. I'm
Mm,
assuming. I think it's on 8. Yeah, I think I'm like a couple behind. Because like I said, I stopped right at when she became the vampire when we found out she was a vampire.
mm.
So we'll see how that goes. I think the premise was great as well. So I'm gonna keep watching it. I'm gonna keep see what happens. Let's see what happens because I can binge a few episodes anyways. So and I don't know if a new one came out yet this week or was that 8 that just came out. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure
Um,
either.
but we'll see. But I can binge them and find out. So Shangri-La Frontier. This shit is fantastic. I can't say nothing else. This shit is fantastic. This show, like David said earlier, this show is essentially about a young man who is a VR MMORPG gamer who loves playing trash games. He loves playing games that have glitches, bugs, and he likes beating them. He's then offered the opportunity to play a god tier game, a game that everybody plays. Think of it like, uh, um, I can't even think of the last trash game I played, but like, think of it like, huh?
Warzone.
Well, okay, Warzone, but I meant like a VR MMO, uh, oh my god, how did I not forget? How did I forget this name? It's the Dark Soul in the Dark Souls trilogy,
Ah,
the one that we played together.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can't believe I forgot the name of that game already.
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. There we go. Jesus. But think of like Elden Ring, but a lower version of Elden Ring. He likes playing those trash ones. Like I guess like Ghost of Tsushima or something. Somebody's gonna come at me in the comments for that one. But now he's playing the Elden Ring, the one without bugs, things like that. And he's playing the one that millions of people are playing, and he's still goated. I mean, this guy's really strong. He gets into the game. He wears the chicken head because he has the build that a lot of people have seen in our life in VR MMOs where they like to play naked with like a head and like a scarf, and
Like
they
a
like to
speed
carry
build.
around. Yes, like a speed build. Um, and it's pretty much his goal is to beat the game. I mean, he comes into chance encounters. Right now, he's in a Vorpal Bunny encounter, which is super weird, but they're still on this track for the last few episodes. But okay. Um, and essentially, the girl that loves him in real life is in there as well, and she's been trying to find him. She's this giant knight-looking character that's like super strong. She is a well-known funny enough that we didn't know she was a gamer in the beginning of the show, but then after we found out she's been playing Shangri-La Frontier for a while, and she's like super powerful, super strong. And the last episode that I watched, she came in and saved him from being killed.
Funny
This isn't
enough,
one
we actually found out that she only started playing Shangri La in hopes of one day him playing Shangri-La
Yep.
so that she can impress him with
Yeah.
how
Strong she
far
is.
ahead she
Yeah.
is. Her and the shopkeeper literally talked about like, you play this game and then one day I'll tell him to play the game and then you can like
Yeah.
save him or something in the
No,
game.
the
It's like,
shopkeeper is on
why
game.
are you
Honestly, the
why are you
video game,
plotting on me at this point, bro?
like yeah, but he's pretty much like super strong. But the thing I like about this show is he's good because he's a video game player, but he's not like broken.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's really good.
He's really
He's really good,
skilled.
but it's realistic.
Hmm.
Like it's very realistic. Like he's not just a broken main character where he's wiping people. Like nah, he's struggling sometimes. Like when he fought the wolf, when he's like when he's fighting like some of these unique monster encounters, like he's
I
losing.
mean,
He's
think about
literally
it.
dying.
When you play games so much, you like get certain mechanics. Like think about the Dark Souls trilogy. If you played all the Dark Souls and then
Yeah,
you came into Elden Rings, you already have the
yeah.
mechanics. You just needed to get the skills. You needed to get the weapons, and he came
You
in
just
with
needed
these
the
basic
product
ass
knowledge.
skills, basic
Yeah,
ass weapons. Using his advanced knowledge, he was able to
yeah.
get the advanced weapons, and he's going to eventually get all the advanced
Like
skills and equipment. So
like
it's kind of
him fighting bosses that don't have like movement patterns to going to fight bosses with movement patterns. He's like, oh, this shit is easy.
yeah.
Like what the fuck, So
When he fucks with the snake.
he's definitely beating bosses that other people wouldn't be able to.
Hmm.
But then he comes up against the ones that nobody has, and realistically, he is losing. Like he is losing and dying, and then he has to kind of come back up. But like this show is fantastic. I'm not gonna give it an S only because I haven't seen any progression in the story yet. It's just him playing the game. There's nothing there's nothing like I'm gonna put it in A because it's a great show. I think the show is fantastic, but I haven't seen where it's going yet. There's no clear goal. It's just him playing the video game, which is cool and I love it. But he finally meets her, like he sees her, they still don't know that each other are each other. I mean, she knows he's him, but he doesn't know she's her. But there's no there's no path. Like I don't see it the end of the tunnel. I don't see like or is there going to be a demon lord or something? I don't know. I don't know. Just something, right? So I'm definitely going to put it in A because it is a fantastic show, but I don't know. I don't see a way
Yeah,
ahead.
I agree. I would definitely have put in that A as well. It's set up a lot of storylines. It's set up a lot of things that obviously you want to see play out, but right now they're not playing out. They're
Yeah.
just setting those things up. So it's like, okay, if it goes this way, awesome. If it goes that way, awesome. But right now, which way are we really going to go with this?
Yeah.
So
And
definitely
honestly,
A.
I'll keep it in the A if it ends and it's honestly just him leveling his character up and then getting more swords and then eventually hopefully beating the wolf and that's cool. That's not really a storyline. That's just him progressing to beat a boss. I'd be okay with that. I mean, that's cool. There just was no real goal at the end of this,
Yeah, that's
unless like
basically
is it love or like
that's basically the
like
VR MMO show, the playthrough. He's
yeah,
just leveling up his character. He's just making his stuff
yeah,
better. It's no like actual clear cut. This is what's going on in the show.
yeah.
So it's a fair assessment. A's pretty powerful. I'll give you that one.
Berserker Gladly. Let's get it. Let's get it.
All
Go ahead.
right. So
Go
the
ahead.
last one we're going to be going through is
Go
Berserker
ahead.
Gluttony. It seems Maui really wants to get into this one as well.
Well, I have something to say, but go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no, you take this. You take this. I'll give you my opinion. I'll give you my opinion at the end.
Berserker Gluttony, just to give a quick rundown of what the show is, it's not an isekai or anything. The people of this world are the people of this world. Our main character. Think of this world as essentially your skills determines what type of life you lead. If your
Hmm.
skills suck, you're going to have a sucky life. If you have no skills or any skills that does anything for you, then you end up being somebody's bitch and having to live off of them, which is the position our main character starts off in. He has
Starts
a
off in
skill
yeah.
that he feels, or at least originally
Useless.
thought was useless. It only made him hungry. It didn't do anything for him. He already grew up as a commoner. He grew up in a poor
Yeah.
village. He moved to the capital, and his skill only seemed to make him hungry. So to survive, he ends up being a bitch of like the royal
The
guards.
Knights.
Yeah, the royal
Yeah.
knights, the guardsmen of that kingdom, of that city. So eventually, we come to a point where he finds out what his skill is through a sword. So think back on reincarnated as a sword, same situation. He meets a sword that has sentience. It can think for itself.
Yeah.
It has its own powers. It
What
has
is
its
it
own
called?
skills. It pushes him to be stronger. So he
Yeah.
actually finds a sword, luckily, in a weapon shop in the back. It looks rusty. It looks dirty. No one else wants it. He gets it for a discount because he finally is like, you know what? I want to actually do something for myself. I want to train so I can at least be an adventurer, so I don't have to be somebody's bitch. I can at least be an adventurer and make some type of living off of that. So he gets himself a sword, ends up hitting the jackpot, a sword that has sentience, that understands what his quirk or his hidden skill is and how it works. And then together he goes out, and we end up finding out like his sword's ability is greed,
Hmm.
while his ability is gluttony. So
Well,
his ability forces him to always have this need to fight, to kill, to gain experience point, to constantly be at it. And if he doesn't do that, then he gets into these episodes where he's super tired, he's super hungry, he cannot function properly. While his sword has ability is greed. So essentially steals his experience points, not steals it, he asks for the experience points and they agree, but takes his experience points to become stronger, to give him an even more larger arsenal of these fantastic
yeah.
abilities to use. So at this point, it just seems like our main character is becoming more and more powerful. He's understanding his skill more and more. He's meeting other characters who are kind of in the same boat as him, and it's a really great story. Don't know how
Well,
it's where it's going, but right
yeah.
now it's super good. I think it's super good.
Well, you forgot to mention that, like, where he got that sword, he has the skill appraisal as well.
Oh
And
yeah,
not too many people have that skill, and it's a very rare skill. And people don't like people with the skill appraisal because you can tell, like, merchants hate it because if they're selling shitty goods, you
mm-hmm.
can tell it's shitty
Mm-hmm.
and tell other people. And so when he was rifling through that bin, he saw greed, which is the one of the seven deadly, or it's like one of the swords of sin, or like one of the, they call it a deadly sin sword or something like that. There's
Seven deadly
seven of them
swords.
out there.
The
There's yeah,
seven deadly
seven
sin
deadly sins,
swords.
sin swords or whatever. And so he saw that sword, realized that it was a magic sword and it was a good sword, and that's why he grabbed it. And then he obviously finagled with old boy and was like, "Ah, this sword is worthless. Let me just take it off your hands." He's like, "Oh yeah, whatever, 2 coppers." But it's
Mm-hmm.
obviously worth a shit ton more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you're right. He meets that girl whose sin is sloth. Her is it an axe? Yeah, it's an axe, right?
Yeah,
He
the
meets the
axe.
girl. Hers is sloth, so it's like a deviant sword or something, like deviant weapon. It's like a seven weapons of like demon weapons that
Mm.
people that nobody wants to have because it like fucks you up, like it messes with you. Um, but yeah, I honestly, personally, for me, for where are you gonna put it before I get into my comments?
Where am I going to put it? Again, it doesn't like I know it's going somewhere, but I feel like it's in the same boat as Shangri-La where we're setting things up, but we haven't quite established which direction we're going. So I'm going to put it as an A. I think it was actually
Okay,
a pretty solid show. It could fall into a B. Unlike Shangri-La, Shangri-La can continue the same way
yeah.
and stay a A, or it can become an S. This show, if it continues the same way, it can drop to a B, but it has the potential to
I
move up.
yeah. I honestly think this show's a B personally, only because I don't get me wrong, I like the show, but there was a few episodes where it was really boring. Like there were some parts where there was no fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Like he went out and like killed a few goblins here or there, and then I was just like, all right, cool. And then he went back to his life, right? And then he went back out in the mask and killed a few goblins, killed a few a few
Mm-hmm.
things, and he went back to his life. And you're just like, okay,
What
like
what are we doing?
there's no like real action, but I know right now they're setting up for that big advance, that
Mm-hmm.
big advance on, I forgot what it was, the place where her father ended up dying. Like it was like the big war against these
Yeah,
monsters or
yeah,
whatever.
the
And
sloth girl.
the
Yeah.
yeah, no, not the sloth girl. The knight that she's with now, the female in the picture, her father ended up dying and losing against these
Oh
monsters.
yeah, she because
And
she got
so
sent there because her
yeah,
father
she's
died, and
she's
now
getting
he's
sent. Yeah,
going out there because he
she's
wants
getting
to.
a group of holy knights together to go
Mhm.
fight these monsters now. And he said, "I'm gonna go there to make sure she doesn't die too."
Because these
So
people are pretty much slated to die. People know that
yeah,
if you go out there, your chances of
whatever.
surviving are
Yeah,
very low.
whatever mission this is, everybody that goes on it dies.
Hmm.
And so apparently it's a big deal. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that episode is out now. But for me, it was a B, honestly, because there were some boring parts. I honestly was close to dropping this show until they started showing more of him. Um, what's his like Batman persona? It's like I don't know. I forgot what they call him. They
I
call him something. He's like
I can't remember.
corpse or something like that. Something weird. Um, but yeah, but then they started showing more of him fighting and more of him getting his different weapons, his scythe, his bows, his
Yeah,
and I'm like
and
I was
that's
like
what brought it
okay,
up for me. Yeah, that's why
yeah,
I ended up putting it into an A. Because I agree. I would say around episode 3 or 4, I could definitely see myself putting this to a B because of the current episodes. Because it seems like we're
yeah,
we're picking it up again because it kind of slowed
hmm,
down. 'Cause after the first reveal of okay, this is the power, this is what you need to
yeah.
do, it became like okay, I'm gonna go do this, and now I'm
It's
gonna
very
go live
trickly.
my
Yeah,
live my my peaceful life. But now it's kind of like all right, I'm actually gonna get into the action now. I'm
yeah,
going to go to this war. I'm going to go into this combat zone. So that's I think that's kind of what put it into the A for me. But I can understand what you mean. At some points, it definitely
yeah,
kind of got a little dry. It's like, all right, we've established the story now. Now where are we going with it? So
yeah.
I see what you
All
mean. I see
right.
what you mean.
So we got a bunch of S's and A's. I'm proud of this season. The season is looking pretty good. I mean, there's a couple on here that although there's one that I need to look into. I've watched every single one of these the except for the other VR MMORPG game. The I don't know, the playthrough one, I believe
A
it's called.
playthrough of a certain dude's VR
Yeah.
MMO life.
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna check that one out. But there's some pretty good stuff this season. So we'll see how the rest of it progresses throughout the rest of the season. Hopefully some of these don't drop, and hopefully they just go up. I honestly hope they all go. I want a season where it's all S tier. Every single one of them is S tier. I don't think that'll ever happen, but well,
Because it's going to shadow the other ones. You know how we get. We see one show and it's like, damn, this
yeah,
show's really good.
yeah.
Now we're starting to compare other shows to it.
To be fair, if we put every single anime that ever dropped every season, there'd be a shit ton in the D, and because we don't watch the shit in the first place because of this. So, but all right, everybody, I really appreciate it. If you stuck around towards the end, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Again, ring that notification bell. If there's something we missed, if there's something, again, there's a sleeper in there that we didn't see, I mean, let us know. I mean, let us know down in the comments. Let us know if we missed something because we got a good recommendation before. But we appreciate it, guys. We'll see you on the next episode. Happy early Thanksgiving. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Peace.